We just had a very controversial ending to the most important hockey game of tonight. Was this a kicked goal? Should it have counted? Watch this clip and think about it as I set up the context. The Buffalo Sabres are playing the New York Islanders, and these two teams are absolutely battling for one of the two final wildcard spots. With a head-to-head matchup and similar winning percentages going into tonight, this was a game that could really swing things for either team. The game was tied 1-1 going into the first. Josh Bailey would make it 2-1 for the Islanders about 2 minutes into the third. Kyle Oposo would then tie it. Then we'd have this goal from Hudson Fasching. Now, giving you some time to think about it, should this have counted? The call on the ice was no. However, it was then overturned by Toronto. And when I say Toronto, by the way, I've had questions about that. I mean the NHL Situation Room. But was that the right decision? We've had kicking motion debates all year, and this certainly looks like a kicking motion. Well, a lot of people are angry, but I'm just going to say I think this was the right call. Let's talk the distinct kicking motion, and I understand why people are up in arms, because whenever a goal goes off someone's foot, the number one thing people do is analyze the leg movement to look at whether it was a distinct kicking motion. This certainly looked like that. However, for a goal to be invalid under this rule, 37.4 states that the puck specifically has to go off the player's skate or foot. Otherwise, it cannot be a distinct kicking motion goal. It went off the shin pad here, not the foot, not the skate, so you can't disallow it for that reason, even if they do so on ice. I understand the confusion because the ref says there was no distinct kicking motion. That doesn't mean the player wasn't making a distinct kicking motion with his feet. What he means is that there's no distinct kicking motion as it's defined within the rule book. It's a term of art. I know it's somewhat confusing, but that's what he meant. Had it hit his foot? Yeah, it probably doesn't count for that reason. Another rule I've seen people bringing up is 78.5 subsection 1. This says that a goal shall be disallowed when the puck has been directed, batted, or thrown into the net by an attacking player other than with a stick. I understand why people are bringing this one up, but it's also a bit weird because if you've watched more than a few games of hockey, certainly if you've played hockey, you'll know that pucks are deflected off a player's body all the time, and they count. That's why you screen the goalie, that's why you charge the net. A puck doesn't have to go in off your stick to count. Why people are confused is the use of the word directed there. One thing I've learned studying the NHL rules is that specific words like that are incredibly important. This rule is meant to capture situations where a player hits or knocks a puck into the net. A deflection is something completely different, and the NHL rules specifically say if an attacking player has the puck deflect into the net off his skate or body in any manner, the goal shall be allowed. The player who deflected the puck shall be credited with the goal. Now, obviously, there are restrictions to that, like the distinct kicking motion rule, but what a lot of people think, and that's wrong, is that a deflection is something that happens accidentally. That's actually not true. It's specifically when the puck is diverted from its intended path. Now, often by accident, but not necessarily, and certainly not by definition. The difference between a direction, which is disallowed, and a deflection is more about the method in which you're changing the puck's direction, whether you're letting it hit off you or whether you're doing the other words he uses in the sentence, a bat or a throw. What this rule is trying to capture is situations where someone swings their hands and hits the puck into the net, or where they knock a stationary puck on the ice into the net with their hand or their head or whatever. But if you're, say, skating in front of the net and the puck bounces off your hand, I'd say even if you moved it into position, that of course is allowed. I know it's weird how the rules are written, but if you study law, for example, you'll understand that specific wording, the use to include and exclude words, is incredibly important. You've got to look at which words they choose to include or exclude in the specific rule. Even though he deflected it, had it hit the skate, it would have been disallowed because deflections that hit the skate with a kicking motion are not allowed in the rules. That's the same with the high stick. Even if you deflect rather than propel the puck off a high stick, both words are explicitly mentioned in the rules, thus disallowed. And at this point, you're probably wondering, what's with the title of the video then? Well, the point is the NHL rulebook doesn't make sense in a lot of instances. Why are distinct kicking motions only disallowed when the puck hits the skate? What are they trying to stop? And if this action isn't captured by that rule or any of the others, then what's the point? If it's safety, then it doesn't matter whether the puck actually hits the skate or not. It's the action actually moving your foot around near the goalie that's concerning. If they want only pucks to go in off sticks, then they should make that explicit. Make a rule around purposeful deflections off body parts if that's what they want. I don't think that makes any sense, and I in fact think that the kicking kicking rule needs to go entirely. Those are just my thoughts though. Let me know yours down below. Oh, also, I would give my thoughts on the rest of the game, but Sportsnet Now didn't work for that game tonight. It just straight up would not work. I watched the Toronto one instead. I was looking forward to that game all day. Sportsnet Now, you're garbo. You're just not good.